Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on a beautiful movie. I know that this is the feature directorial debut of Elegance Bratton, which I actually kind of can't get over because it's so beautiful and so assured. And I would just love to know how you first became aware of this project and what interested you in bringing it to the screen.
Chester, that's
Starts with Chester?
He's like, I'm the husband.
Well, I'm Elegance's producer and partner. I'm Chester. We are married, so I helped him develop the script on our couch, essentially. It was between a short film based off of, a feature film based off of his short film Walk For Me that had some festival success, and then this film. And we had a conversation, and I told Elegance he should do the story that only he can tell, essentially, and, take the viewers through what he's gone through.
I mean, I know all movies are autobiographical to some degree, but this is a pretty personal story for him, isn't it?
It is.
Wow. Effie, for you, how did you come to be involved?
Well, I met you first in 2017, 2018. When was it?
2018.
2018. And you said, you are going to produce our movie. And I was like, you have that moment. And then a couple years later, I meet them and I'm like, do they not know that I'm going to do this movie? Like I was like holding on to their coattails, like in a real way. Getting the script, meeting them, it really seemed like a no-brainer. It was really dealing with all the issues that we really hold dear to our hearts, and then being able to bring on these wonderful people really sort of cinched the deal.
Well, you're right, because the casting of this film is so fantastic. The ensemble from top to bottom. Raúl, I would just love to know how you first became aware of this project and what attracted you to this role.
I was in Tribeca Film Festival in 2018 supporting a film called We the Animals.
Woo!
And kind of similarly to Effie, Elegance cornered me at a party and said, I have this script for you, and I have this character for you. And at the time, I'd kind of I spread myself a little thin. I'd said yes to too many things, and I became very skittish. So I think I gave Elegance my number, and he texted me, and I kind of ignored the text. And then cut to 3 years later, in 2021, I got the script sent to me by my agency. They wanted me to tape for the role of Rosales, and I read the script and I thought it was absolutely stunning.
And Jeremy, for you, I mean, what party were you approached at 3 years ago? Yeah. How did you become aware of this project?
I was fortunate to read the script. My agents had sent me the script. And I think I finished it one night, and then the next day I hopped on a Zoom. I was able to meet Elegance. And I had so many questions. I read this beautiful script about his life, but I wanted to know, well, what happened after? Where's your mom? Where are you at? And, he gave me, some hard truths as far as where they were at and what had happened. And ultimately, I think it was just, I knew that by him telling his story in this way, he was going to be giving us so much. And it's one of those vulnerable things that once you give something so personal away like this, you can't get it back. And I knew that would come at a cost, being a Black filmmaker, being a Black queer filmmaker. So I wanted to be a part of this project to protect him and kind of be the person in front of him, because it just there comes a cost, and there's a lot that he's giving to us. And that was the journey. We began that journey after that Zoom, and I had told him I really want to be a part of this. I think we can make something very special.
I am curious if you had been approached about doing other films, or if you were sort of waiting for something special.
Yeah. I move very specific, I think. I think I say no a lot more than I do yes. I'm very sensitive, and I want to work with, individuals and creatives that are doing things a bit different. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of great collaborators from Broadway to screen that allow me to kind of grow and find and play. And that was one thing I was able to do with this role. Yes, it's based on his experiences, but we kind of had to have a heart-to-heart and go, you have to trust me on this one, and I have to trust you. So I could kind of dig and bring a lot of the things I needed to bring up to kind of craft this character together. So I'm so happy that I said yes to this one. But again, I felt that from the moment I read it, because it was with a production company I have been wanting to work with, A24. And it was just a special story that centered a Black queer narrative. And growing up, I've never seen a Black gay movie star. So I thought, wow, what a gift for this to be kind of my entryway into film and be something that feels so personal, but it's kind of offering healing to this person that I admire and adore and just met. But I know that this film would be bigger than just me and him, and that it would resonate with people that needed to feel seen and heard and know that they can be the hero and that there is a way out.
It's, yeah, not going to step on anyone's applause. It's so obvious when you see this movie why all these people were cast. I mean, it is a perfect ensemble. But I am curious for the producers, sort of behind the scenes, what were you looking for, and how did you go about rounding out this ensemble?
Well, rounding out, I mean, it was, of course, Kim Coleman, but it was also you and Elegance knew from the beginning of who had what essence. And I really thought, it was a wonderful ensemble cast with all the other, all the other fellas that are in the movie. And I think when we had that casting process, we knew it when we saw them. Yeah. And then, but the casting process alone, getting them to Mississippi, because that's where we shot, in the middle of the summer. And those of you know, right? You know what I mean? And also COVID. And I think it was really that some sort of camaraderie and that sort of bonding that really sort of gelled into what I think you see. Well, I hope you see today, on the screen.
This film is set in 2005. Yeah. And I know that's probably largely because it's autobiographical. But it's interesting how that doesn't feel that long ago in some ways, but in other ways, the way we looked at masculinity and the homophobia that was so prevalent, did that sort of contribute to the choice to make it a period piece?
I think it did. He wanted to tell it during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and that was during, I believe, it was brought to it. It happened for the entire existence of the Army, but it became a thing, I believe, during Bush's administration. Yeah, and then Obama got rid of it, I believe. But it was really important that it took place because there's never been a film that focused on Don't Ask, Don't Tell, any type of military film.
And Raúl and Jeremy, I'm so curious because these characters feel so authentic, having known a lot of military people in my life. How did you go about preparing for these roles? Was there some sort of a boot camp or anything like that?
There was boot camp.
Was there really?
I'm still healing from the real boot camp that we had. It's one of those things where you're like, they'll probably like talk to me about some things and, we'll read a book or, something. Nah, y'all, we was up at, I remember reading the call sheet one morning. It was like 3:30 a.m. pickup. And I was like, for what? I don't understand what you're telling me because I'm an actor. I wanted to make sure I was getting the right call sheet, and Elegance was very serious. And we had to show up early morning and go through boot camp and, just pull it together. So I think that definitely lent to the guys, all of us kind of building that camaraderie as a group, as a platoon. But yes, real boot camp, real push-ups. Nothing was not real.
Before we go, Jeremy, you mentioned that Elegance was very generous, and you say you recognizing that you're playing his story to some extent, but it's also you're creating a character. Was it ever challenging, though, when you're working alongside the person and the story is so personal? I mean, you really don't want to mess it up. And you didn't. Thank you.
I think, I think the days that I remember being just challenging for everyone in the room were any scenes I had with Gab, who was playing his mother, because it's sensitive, and this film was another attempt for him to reach out to her. His mother did pass a few days after the movie was greenlit to go. Mm-hmm. So there's that. There's that piece, and I just was very sensitive to that fact. So whenever we would get, I remember the one day we got into the apartment, which is basically designed to look like the apartment that he was kicked out of. So he's having his own emotional kind of, journey with that. Then as I'm getting into character, I'm then realizing there's baby pictures of me in this space. Then I kind of went into my own kind of journey of feeling abandoned and my relationship with just coming out as Black and queer and all of that. So those days were tough. And Gab kind of having to go to the place that she had to go to to be able to find the humanity of this character and to understand that there is such a longing between Ellis and his mother, but they just can't quite seem to find each other, that the love that they have for each other is conditional. I can love you, but under these conditions. So that was tough time, where we really we had to kind of hold each other and lift each other up, because there was a lot being poured into the pot. But I ultimately knew that at the end of the day, once the work was done, that Elegance felt lighter, that he had seen healing, that he had felt lighter, and that's just all we could be grateful for.
It's fantastic. Well, again, I want to congratulate you on a beautiful movie. Please let everyone know, spread the word about this film. It's so special. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you all so much for being here.